Hey guys, welcome to another episode 4 of Highest and Best with Stevie and Erica. This episode, we're going to be talking about 5 things we would do if we were new real estate agents. So I'm excited to share these ideas with everybody. Erica, do you want to start us off?
Yes. Gosh, when you're just getting started, it's like the most scary time, I think, right? So overwhelming. Yeah.
Where to start?
Yeah. So we're going to give you 5 things that we would do immediately to start to grow your business. So number 1, I would do as many open houses as you can for any agents in your office. Like, get started just by getting to know other agents, which can be difficult because the top producers are always really busy, but just kind of see who takes a liking to you and who you vibe with, and say, hey, listen, like, I'm available if you need me for anything, an open house, a showing, an inspection. Just spread the word around your office and kind of see who you can collaborate with, and just make yourself available. The best thing you have when you first are getting started is time. You have time. So yeah, I think that's really important. Stevie, what's your first topic? No.
Well, to jump on that about open houses, even in our Facebook group for our brokerage, people are always on there like, hey, can anyone do an open house this day, this time? And I've had agents reach out to me and say, hey, next time that you need an open house, please keep me in mind. So, and people I love when people reach out to me and ask like, hey, what do you need help with? What can I do? So don't be nervous about doing that. And plus, open houses are a great free way to meet potential buyers, and you don't have to do this long, elaborate open house. It could just 2 hours. We were both talking before about open houses and how we did a lot of them in the beginning, and I would do 2 on Saturday, and I would just do them for 2 hours. And I would try to schedule, those 2 houses closer together, so I'm not driving all around town to get to the next one. And just marketing them like crazy. It really helps build credibility, even though you're not showcasing that this is my listing. It's great for marketing, and even with your open house, like, besides, hosting that and potential buyers coming in, but you could door knock and meet those neighbors. You can get a dialer and call into the neighborhood and touch base with them. You could send them a mailer. So there's just so many things you can do around the whole open house topic. I feel like in the future, we'll have to do an episode just on open houses, and I've got a checklist for that.
Love it.
So
yeah, that's so important too. And even just, connecting with another agent as a teammate, ideally, if you can get on a team, that's probably one of the best things. Back when I started, like, I feel like a dinosaur, but it was like 15 years ago. Like, there really were not that many teams, actually. So, it was a little bit different, but, So what's our next thing
the next one is, find a mentor. Like, I think it's really beneficial to befriend people within, the brokerage or wherever that are newer. Like, that was really inspiring for me and got me motivated and excited, was these being friends with these newer real estate agents, because we were able to discuss the beginning process together and come up with ideas and do things together. We would do open houses together. It was door knocking with people. We were making calls together, and even doing other social things together, going to events and putting on our own events together. It kept me excited. So I think that's really great to be in a brokerage where you be with people that you can genuinely be friends with, but having a mentor of somebody that has been at a level that you want to be at and can share with you, the mistakes that they have made, and sharing what works for them and learning from them, and maybe potentially having some accountability can be such a game changer for you in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's cool these days with the internet and social media is, like, that mentor doesn't even have to be in your office. Like, they could be, maybe someone else from across the country that, can kind of help you too. So that's really cool, is there's just so many resources available.
Yeah, I didn't have a mentor when I first started. And I was on YouTube, like YouTubing everything. And there was a couple people that I came across that are still in the business, and they were, they're really into the YouTube videos. And man, I learned so much from just like how they conversate and how they handle objections. And several of them do calls, and just me constantly, like I would just have it on while I was doing other things, and just to constantly have it on in the background of listening to their conversations, it stuck, so that when I was having these conversations with buyers, like I already knew what to say, and I already felt so confident because I heard it over and over. And that's, a free resource. And I would reach out to these people. I would ask them questions, and it was like we became friends, and I ended up meeting them like in events, years later, and became friends with them. So I don't know, it's just so cool, the content that you can get online for free.
Well, and the old school way too of like reading a book, right? Like there's so many really great books.
Gosh.
I'm such a reader. Like that's one of my like pastimes is reading actually. But just like, because like if you're a reader like I am and you love that, you get your highlighter out and you highlight what you want to say, and there's scripts and tricks. And so just being prepared for like handling different objections or things on inspections, or whatever comes your way, just immerse yourself in this world of real estate, just in whatever way, shape, or form you can.
And even too, like just having somebody else that you can talk to about the job and situations, like not everyone's spouse is in real estate, right? So they might just not get it. And so I think it's good to have someone else to just like talk through scenarios and get advice, and having this mentor could be life-changing.
Absolutely. So both of our significant others are in real estate. That's funny.
Yeah. Like,
just
what
a
are the
side
odds?
note. Yeah. And then we're both sitting here. That's cool.
Yeah. So I love like coming home and I'm like, you won't believe what happened today.
Oh yeah.
And he totally gets it. And then ends up telling me about things that happen with him. But I could see like someone who, even like some of my friends who aren't in real estate, if I mention something to them, it's like, they just don't get it. So it's nice having people close to you that you can just kind of talk and vent it through. And, if you don't have a spouse that's in real estate, then that mentor could potentially be that person for you. Or
get yourself a best friend, a mentor. In my world, like my best, like my circle's like all in real estate. It's kind of crazy. And we don't compete against each other either, which is nice too. So, so next thing, what else would we do if we were a brand new agent? For me, like, and mind you, I was like in my 20s and single, but I used to just go to happy hour by myself, and I would just like get to know the bartenders. I would get to know the owners of the restaurants, and I would be a regular. And next thing I knew, like they would refer me business. Like they would be like, Erica, like this plastic surgeon's here and is looking for a realtor. And I'd like drop everything and run into this restaurant and like go. And that was like one of my first multi-million-dollar clients actually. That's how, but just like getting your name out there and being social, like, if you enjoy being social, like for me at that time in my life, in my 20s, it worked well for me. Right. Like, so, I would just tell, like, everyone knew I was like a realtor, like, and I would just go and have lunch or happy hour or whatever. And, that was a really good way to just meet people and spread my name everywhere.
I went to a lot of events, and some of them were with real estate agents, and I have been asked like, oh, why are you going to those? And honestly, it's been so beneficial for me because you never know who's going to be on the other side of that deal. Like a lot of times in multiple offer situations, mine will get picked because they know who I am and they know I'm going to get the deal done. So me befriending local realtors has actually been very beneficial, but also too, just to build friendships with people who are in real estate. And when I was new, I didn't have any real estate agent friends. So it was nice to just surround myself around professionals, positive people. And, but I started just putting on networking events because I couldn't do past client events because I didn't have any yet. And I would partner up with another agent. We've done this several times, and we would just invite people who we would invite people who were in real estate, but also who were not, and like leverage it for them and like showcase them before the event, and introduce them to people at the event and showcase their business. And that was just and when you're a host, I feel like it builds such credibility. And every time I always had it sponsored. I never paid for it. The giveaways, the food, the drinks, the venue, was able to get it covered by somebody who was in the industry, that I work with. And it was just such a great way to connect and build your database. And I would leverage it on social media like crazy.
That's great. I love that idea. Well, especially too, because you're taking the time to plan it, and right, it's your event. And so now everyone knows who you are and you're the host. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the same thing with me, like our offers get accepted because they know who I am and who my team is and what we do time and time again. And, I'm always kind to everyone, just like you are probably. And, and that's another thing too, is you can't be rude, right? Because there's going to come a time where you're going to have to work with this person at some point or another. So I'm just
absolutely,
always really understanding and empathetic and just cooperative, really, just to get the deal done, right? So what I really love about working with Chris Kemp is that he literally will reply to messages and emails from my clients and I in real time. And that's so important because when you're in a multiple offer situation and you're getting ready to put that offer in and your client wants to know how much their monthly payment is, or can they afford that $30,000 over asking that, they need to write in order to secure the deal, he will literally get right back to you, or someone from his team will get right back to you and get your questions answered. He's been in residential lending now for about 21 years, and he has been just so supportive of everything that me and my team have done. And I just see him support other agents by, having luncheons or supporting their open houses, and all those ways too, which is also really cool. His annual production, you guys, is crazy impressive. He's one of the best in the country at $123 million in loan volume every year, with 468 single transactions. Like, holy shit, that's crazy. #goals, right? So if you guys are looking for a residential lender, Chris Kemp's your guy. He's with Flagstar Bank. He is in the Metro Detroit area, but can do a loan anywhere in the country. Follow him on Instagram. It's Chris Kemp at Flagstar Bank. And just tell them Highest and Best sent you.
With events, I would always, and people seem to be really interested, I always share like the behind the scenes of getting ready for the event. And it's just such a non-salesy way to get in front of people. And also I would, send out invites, and I would follow up with people. Hey, how's it going? Just wanted to invite you to this. And even the day before, I'd be like, hey, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Someone did that to me for an event, and I will never forget it because it was she put on Facebook. It was a Facebook event, and I had checked going. And a lot of times I do that just to show support. And this person was like, oh, can't wait to see you, blah, 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 like a week or two out. And I was like, okay, yeah, And then the day before, she messaged me and was like, hey, how's it going? How's your day? Yeah, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. And I was like, oh, shoot, like she's really expecting to see me tomorrow. And so I went. And I'm awesome. Like, from now on my events, I'm going to be following up with people, as I'm creating it. And then the day before and showcasing, like, I'm excited to see you, because they might think like, oh, they're not going to notice that I didn't make it, it's no big deal type thing. And it's like, no, the host is like really looking forward to it. It kind of keeps them more accountable.
Yeah. And engaged too. And like, right. Yeah. I do the same thing too. I say yes, knowing like I might not go probably because, right, you want to show support, but yeah, that's so true.
Okay. So the next thing is, well, I think picking a brokerage can really, I think it's very, very important with your success, even though it is on you, right? And the work that you put into it and the education. But, you know, when I first got started, I went with a particular brokerage, and I was there for 6 months and I didn't do anything. I had gone to their trainings and I would leave there like, what was that?
The vibe didn't work
And the
for you.
other people, no, and I didn't feel like I learned anything. And then, which is shocking. I'm a brand new agent and I was leaving training like, what? And the other people who were there were just not like-minded people like me. So I wasn't talking to anybody. I didn't really feel comfortable. So I had a friend who wasn't even in real estate, and I had asked him if he would come with me to a training, and he was interested in getting his license. So, you know, I just told the broker, yeah. I was like, I need you to come to this training and I just want to see what you think about it. And so he came and walked out and he was like, oh my gosh, like, what was that? He thought it sucked. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I just don't enjoy it. I would go into the office and the women, like I would have just met them. I remember I went in like a couple days later and this lady was like, hi, are you looking to buy a house? And I was like, no, I work here, Susan. I just met you 2 days ago. So I wasn't fitting in and it wasn't my vibe at all. And I just kind of thought, oh, real estate isn't for me. Like, this isn't what I thought it was. It's not really working. I'm not learning. I wanted to get my license to learn and I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't excited. And then I put my license somewhere else with a friend. And it was like from that point forward, I started meeting all these girls that I became friends with. And the training was amazing. I was going to training after training after training. And it was honestly such a game changer for me.
That's great. Yeah, where you hold your license in the beginning is really important because, you know, that's where you get your support and you meet your friends and all that stuff.
And the training is so crucial. You don't know anything in the beginning, how to negotiate, how to draft up the contract.
Right. So like I started at a small boutique brokerage with like less than 25 agents, and it was like an open office concept. So the owner, who was like in her 60s at the time, who, you know, was selling like 50 million a year, which was like, I was like, oh my God, like she's goals. She sat like literally like I was able to secure the desk like right in front of her. Like, I don't know how. Like I wanted to sit as close to her as I could. And I would literally just sit there all day and like search the MLS and listen to her talk. Like, and so I would just literally start copying her right in front of her. And she would look at me and she would be like, you remind me of me when I was your age. You're going to be very successful. Like, and to this day, like she still sells real estate. She's a killer. Like, love her. But yeah, it's, you know, in that environment, there was no training at all, but without the training, I just kind of mimicked, you know, the successful people that I saw around me and just like did exactly what they did, or like ask for help in the moments, you know, when I needed it. And I think that's a big thing too. It's just like, if you don't know, you don't know, and that's okay. You can tell your clients, hey, you know what, I'm not sure about this, but, you know, let me ask, you know, the broker in my office or a senior agent and, you know, get some advice. And I said that for a long time, and my clients just appreciated it. They weren't like mad at me that I didn't know. I didn't try to hide anything. And, you know, so that's, honesty is the best policy for sure. So, and sometimes even just bringing in another agent too. Like, you know, I would have them consult sometimes and hop on the phone with, you know, in a group call. So that was always really helpful too. But, gosh, there was something I was going to add on to. Can't remember.
Were you always a solo agent? Did you ever join a team?
Yeah. So in the very beginning, I was a solo agent for like a year and a half. And then I was at this office and the owner just saw me there every day, just looking to do something. And there was another agent who at the time had 2 kids and, you know, was really busy, and she worked in the foreclosure industry a lot. So she had a lot of short sales and foreclosures. This was back in like 2007 and 8 and 9 when there was all that going around. And she said, hey, you know what, why don't you partner with her and, you know, see how that goes? And At the time, I was honestly looking back, I was so lucky because I had a 50-50 split, which is crazy as a brand new agent, right? Like for one
Yeah.
year in, like to work with a top producer and have a 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
Now I earned that 50-50 split. Like it ended up being much more than I anticipated. I was like literally doing processing, like buyers, like all the BPOs, all the drive, like, I did a lot, but it was well worth it. And so I was with her for like 2 years. And then I ended up doing, it didn't feel good after a minute because it felt like I was doing everything. And, so I decided to split at that time. And so then I was a solo agent for like, I don't know, 5 years later. And,
Yeah.
it took me a while to kind of build the perfect team, if you will. I've gone through,
Mm-hmm.
probably like 10 different admins and, 10 different buyers agents and partners and
It's
stuff.
hard
It's
to
really
find
hard,
good people.
really hard.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that's one thing that I would have done, and I think is really beneficial for new agents is to join a team. I've never been on a team, but I don't want to say like I would change this because I truly believe like how I got started was meant to be, but I probably would have gotten started a lot quicker if I had joined a team because, they give you training, they help you. Some teams, I mean, everyone structures things differently, but some teams are giving you leads. They give you a plan of how to get leads, and the accountability, right? Like there's so much accountability with being on a team that's something that I always suggest to new real estate agents because I feel like a lot of times they're just lost. They're like, I
Yes.
just have no idea what to do. And I'm like, you should join a team. I think honestly, the reason why I didn't in the beginning was I had thought like you had to be an experienced agent to be on a team. I wasn't very educated with it. Like I didn't realize like they would have just
Hired
taken
anyone.
me,
Yeah.
I
I
thought
know.
like I had to have, I feel like I was so lost and I was just like, oh, they're not going to want me to be on their team. So I just got to figure this out. But, now it's like, oh my gosh, brand new agents. I'm like, you should join a team.
Yeah. Because the
And
team's
who cares
vested
about your
in you.
split?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Because in the beginning, you want to learn, right? You need to know, you need to learn the
That's right.
craft. You need to learn to
Yeah.
close a deal, right? To list a house, to work with a buyer. And then once you have that, like, then I feel like focus on a lot of the marketing too, because like,
Yeah.
it's going to be difficult for you if you have all the marketing down, but you don't know how to close a deal and you can't manage a client and you don't price your listings properly and they're not selling, so there's like these two kind of sides to everything. So first learn the business like through and through, and then I would say get your marketing going. But
Totally.
yeah, go ahead.
I never was like asking people like, oh, what's my commission structure when I first started. But I do hear of new agents, like that's how they pick their brokerages is they're like, oh, well, I'll get to keep so much more of my money at X place. And it's like, I know their accountability there and their training and the people at that brokerage, like that's not going to even matter what your commission structure is. And in the beginning, I remember thinking like, all that matters is me learning. I need to learn as much as I possibly can. And then, later on worry about what my commission structure is, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think just like making yourself available to learn, like, you don't get into this thinking like you're going to travel the world and go on vacation and, go to all this stuff. Like it will not happen. It doesn't, you have to just literally immerse yourself into this like 24/7, like just to get started. And then once
you really do.
Yeah.
I did not travel for so long. I mean, I was obsessive about real estate and I had no boundaries and I felt like I couldn't leave. And I wanted to, once I got started, I really wanted to build this business. And I mean, I had friends that were like, I can't believe you never go anywhere. And then, once I was getting these burnt out stages, they were like, you really need to go on vacation. And I had heard like, this will recharge you and refresh you and you're going to come back like inspired and wanting to work even more. And I just didn't get that. And I didn't think that was how I would be processing it. And then once I started actually doing it, I was like, yeah, I really, really need this. I just actually got my passport in the mail the other day. And I know, like I literally do not do not travel. Like once I started dating John, he, lists all these places that he's visited and countries and all that. And I'm like, I haven't left the United States. And he was like, yeah, he like did all the paperwork and everything for me. He was like, we're leaving. So
that's exciting. Yeah.
I know. I'm so excited.
It's so cool. But yeah, it's true too. Once you go away, like that all the clients are going to come to you. Like,
yeah. And it's like, you need to like step yourself out of it. I think only though, if you have been really working and like really committed and trying to build your business. I mean, not taking a break after 3 days and a couple hours, right? Like
no.
After you've been like so dedicated, I think it's really beneficial to take all the breaks and enjoy, de-stress, all the self-care and refuel. Cause every time I come back, I'm like, I'm excited. Like I do enjoy the job, but when you're just doing it 24/7, it's so easy to get very burnt out.
Yeah, absolutely. Another way of marketing yourself too as a new agent is like what we do best, Instagram, right? Or social media.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I think that's like, get out there, don't be shy.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I was really self-conscious about in the beginning when I started posting on social media was I was so worried, and seems so silly to me now, but I was so worried about what other agents thought of me in my market, they would see me like out, like see these videos or see these photos of me out and about and, just trying to get out there. And I look back at that now and I'm like, whenever I see new agents doing that, I'm like, you go girl.
Yeah,
I'm liking it. I'm
like,
commenting.
Same.
I'm like, why was I so insecure about it? But you know what? Every agent I talk to, ones that mention why they feel insecure, whatever it is about showing up on video and on social media, every person has like the silliest reason ever on why they aren't showing up. And I'm always like, you're going to look back on this and think it's just so ridiculous.
Well, yeah, it's like no one's getting any younger either, right? Like literally, like we're all, it's like, oh, when I lose 10 pounds, when I do this, when I do that. And it's like, it's just do it. Like you can't think about it. Just do it. Because if you don't, like someone else is going to own that space. So, I think the more you get out there, and we'll do another episode on Instagram too. And
nobody cares that you are 10 pounds heavier. No one is even thinking about that, or that you don't like how you sound. Like no one's even thinking that it sounds weird,
Just bring value and post, right? Yeah. Like talk about stuff. So
that's all that matters. And then, when I first started and I was, we do so many things as a real estate agent for free. We're going to trainings, we're getting certifications, open houses, touring resale, new construction, educating ourselves. The list goes on and on. We're not getting paid for any of this, right? Yeah. And I would showcase all these things on social media, and I still do to this day. But in the beginning though, I never said I had closings. I never was like, I'm at the closing table, and I really wasn't. But it built this perception, when I started running into my friends and then people that I had met and connected with on, in person, and added them on social media. And then they'd be like, wow, it looks like you are doing really good. Like, even though I didn't have any closings, I was just sharing what I was doing to learn and provide value to people. And it showcases, that you are actually out there working and trying to help people. So I feel like it's just such a great platform to showcase all that on.
Yeah. Just share your journey, because like, even if you're brand new, like just say it and own it, and, show the broker opens that you're going to, show the, lunch and learns that you're going to, the networking events, right? Like, cause then they're like, your audience is more vested in you, and they're like, oh, that's great. You did this. Like, here, I need to buy a house, or I need to sell a house, whatever. So,
and it's kind of the same thing, I feel like and you as well, like we feel pretty good about Instagram and promoting, and we're getting consistent leads from it. But I feel very humbled and like a newbie when it comes to YouTube and to doing a podcast. And a part of me still has like a little bit of that insecurity of like, oh, other people are going to see me on YouTube and see like, okay, I'm still learning to edit. My lighting's not perfect. Or now we have this podcast. Yeah. It's our first couple episodes. I'm so nervous about like what others will think of it. I'm human, but I'm like, what? I'm still going to show the process. I'm still going to share. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be so consistent, and I've been consistent with YouTube. So it always ends up just paying off, even if you're a beginner. And you're just getting out there and you're feeling insecure, still showing up and getting out there. Because the only way to get better is to go through the process. Like my editing on YouTube is so much better. Our podcast is just going to keep getting better. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful.
Totally. I know side note, I've been so nervous to do this. Like I had nightmares last night, you guys. Like I had literal nightmares, about it was like a ridiculous dream that didn't even make sense. Like my teeth fell out and I had to be on the podcast and I was like, I literally was like, you guys, I don't have teeth. And then you were like, well, you have a problem. And I was like, yeah, I know. I don't know what happened. Like, what kind of dream is that? What kind of dream is that? Like, yeah.
That is epic.
But I showed up. I'm like here, right?
You showed up, girl.
Yeah, I know. So it's natural to have these feelings about things and, just rely on your network and your resources and, just keep going. Like, don't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm super proud of us for showing up and getting this going because it's been a lot of work.
Yes.
And I'm really excited. So I think we probably could give so many more things of what we would do if we were new agents, but let's just stop it at where it's at and wrap this one up. And hopefully we are getting amazing feedback on our podcast so far.
Let us pray.
And
share this on your Instagram. Follow us, download it. Like I have to write all this shit down, you guys, because we have to learn to say this every episode.
Comment, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Wait, wrong platform.
Yeah. But yeah, tell us all the good, the bad, the in between. We want to know what you think. What other topics do you want to hear? What you want more of, less
questions.
Of. Yeah. So
I would love to end the episode with answering everyone's questions. So any question you have, let us know so we can do that for you guys. And thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you on the next one.
See you next time. Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.